Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. Was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down.
Following Caitlin Clark's elimination from the playoffs, WNBA players are sobbing because they feel that fans are against them, because they aren't staying to watch their games. Recent statistics from the semifinals have been released, and it doesn't look good for the WNBA since Caitlin's elimination due to BS fouls. The WNBA hasn't been able to handle the viewership since Caitlin's elimination, and it will only get worse as the playoffs go on.
You want me to just say I told you so, or are you willing to say, Stephen A., you did tell us? Really? Caitlin Clark is the Golden Girl.
Caitlin is currently traveling to Europe, where she is supposedly taking a break, but may also be tempted by a lucrative move to the EuroLeague. What kind of sport allows its best player to be treated horribly? All season doesn't allow the Fevers to have a game at home in the playoffs, then lets their sport die and decrease in viewers after every single game. The NBA is the only sport where teams advance to a final.
Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big.
Who would blame Caitlin if she made a move? She would make 10 times as much money as she does now and receive proper treatment. The WNBA even denied her the chance to win Unanimous Rookie of the Year. One voter inadvertently chose Angel Reese. This voter needs to be exposed.
Should have been unanimous.
Should have been. I agree.
Unanimous.
It should have been unanimous. And one of the things that sticks with me is, well, she was the first rookie to get a triple.
As for viewers, they are dwindling by the minute, and the WNBA is finally witnessing the Caitlin Clark effect in full swing. Players think that fans only want to see Caitlin Clark, and they would be correct. A.A. Wilson wasn't pleased with fans calling her game boring this year. It's more than I've ever seen anyone call my game boring. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. A.A. is obviously unhappy with the decline in viewers, even after winning MVP.
Asia Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment?
Exactly.
Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why when Asia was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
The impact of Caitlin Clark's absence from the WNBA playoffs goes far beyond the numbers of viewers. It reveals a deeper problem with the league, the brittleness of its fan base, and how much it had come to rely on a single player to sustain its newfound momentum. Caitlin Clark was the lightning rod that attracted attention not only to her own team, but to the league as a whole. When the Indiana Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun, and Caitlin Clark's rookie season came to an uncomfortable reality that the WNBA struggles to keep viewers.
2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this.
The WNBA has relied heavily on Caitlin Clark's star power to draw viewers, and without her, the league has been exposed for its inability to retain that audience. This is a clear indication that her presence was driving a large portion of the league's audience, as viewership dropped by more than half after Clark was eliminated from the playoffs.
Since, Angel Reese had that injury to me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists.
The WNBA has struggled with low ratings and attendance for years, but Caitlin Clark's breakthrough season seemed to offer a glimmer of hope. Her games consistently drew record numbers, and for a brief moment it felt like the league had finally turned a corner. However, it's clear that the league's newfound popularity was not as strong as it appeared. The WNBA has struggled to maintain the enthusiasm levels without Caitlin Clark in the playoffs. The remaining teams may still be competitive, but they lack the star power and charisma that Clark brought to the court. As a result, there has been a noticeable decline in the overall buzz surrounding the playoffs. High fans who had been watching Clark's every move found little reason to stick around after her departure.
There was a Jordan effect on the NBA and the game of basketball. I would argue at one point early on there was a Steph Curry effect on the NBA and on basketball also. You bet your ass there is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball.
One of the most concerning aspects of Caitlin Clark's elimination from the playoffs is the way it happened throughout the season. Despite the WNBA's praise for her skills, Clark was frequently fouled and subjected to physical play that went mostly unpunished. This wasn't just a few missed calls. Rather, it was a pattern of rough play that damaged Clark's body and ultimately caused her team to lose.
We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world. Something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league.
Fans watching from home couldn't help but feel frustrated as Clark was knocked around the court with little intervention from the officials. This failure to protect Clark isn't just a one-time mistake. It's part of a larger issue within the WNBA for years. The series against the Connecticut Sun was a prime example of this. Clark was fouled hard multiple times during the series, but the referees seemed reluctant to blow the whistle when it comes to physical play. But when the player at the heart of your league's comeback is being treated this way, it becomes a much bigger issue. The WNBA cannot afford to let its biggest star be treated this way, especially since she is so important to the league's success.
CISM has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Caitlin didn't bring CISM to the WNBA. This has been happening, and that I think is what's been such a shock for all.
Not only was Caitlin Clark's breakthrough season a personal victory, but it was also a huge chance for the WNBA to show off its potential to a larger audience. Her games were attracting spectators from all over the nation, many of whom had never seen a WNBA game before. This was an opportunity for the league to capitalize on the excitement surrounding Clark and create a devoted following, but by failing to protect fans are aware of what transpired. They witnessed Clark's treatment on the court, and many of them have voiced their displeasure. Social media is replete with comments from fans who believe the WNBA failed Clark by permitting her to be fouled repeatedly without appropriate officiating.
There are very, very few people, but there are some out there who resent the fact that this young white girl came out there and did her thing. Rookie of the Year, 4th in the league for MVP voting, assist leader, one of the top leading scorers after the Olympic Games. She put on a show, validating all the attention she was receiving.
Because of this, there is a growing perception that the WNBA isn't doing enough to protect its stars, which could have long-term effects on fan loyalty. Caitlin Clark has already done more for the league in a single season than many players do in a career, but if the league doesn't take action to protect her and other players like her, it runs the risk of losing the very stars who are helping to grow the game. This isn't just about winning games. It's about the league's future.
The number of viewers for WNBA games that Caitlin Clark is not in is like 3 to 4 million. When she's in the game, when it's her game playing, it's like 17 million.
Yeah. Well, I also look at the attendance in the arena.
Yes.
It's 8 to 10,000 everywhere else. Caitlin Clark, 17, 18,000. Yep.
As if fans weren't already irritated by Caitlin Clark's elimination from the playoffs, another controversy quickly ensued despite her record-breaking season and her indisputable impact on the WNBA's development. Clark's performances throughout the season were nothing short of spectacular, so it was shocking that she was not unanimously chosen for Rookie of the Year. However, one voter chose to vote for another player, Angel Reese.
Matter if you are rooting against Caitlin Clark because you like another team. There's very few of them.
I'm excited
even if it's that.
I'm excited to see who it is.
Regardless of whether you are opposed to Caitlin Clark because you support a different team, there aren't many of them. This decision infuriated a lot of fans. How could anyone vote for someone other than Caitlin Clark? She had single-handedly raised the WNBA's profile and was the main factor behind the league's rise in popularity. Didn't win unanimous Rookie of the Year, which felt like a slap in the face to Clark and her supporters. To make matters worse, the WNBA has refused to identify the one voter who selected Reese over Clark, keeping the person anonymous. This lack of transparency has only increased fan annoyance, as many believe that Clark isn't receiving the recognition she deserves.
That second half really set the tone for me, for her to be, and should have been, the unanimous Rookie of the Year.
And it wasn't just one triple-double. She had 2 on the season.
And this is why we would love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had
Stand
that
on
one
it.
vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who.
The rejection of Caitlin Clark for unanimous Rookie of the Year honors is more than just a one-time controversy. It could have long-term effects on how fans view the WNBA. Clark had done everything in her power to improve the league, but when it came time to acknowledge her accomplishments, she was denied the unanimous recognition she deserved. This has left many fans feeling that the WNBA is not fully recognizing the contributions Clark has made to the league. A discussion concerning the fairness of the voting process has been triggered by the choice to give Angel Ree 1 vote rather than Clark. For Caitlin Clark, the Rookie of the Year snub is probably just another source of motivation because she has already shown that she can dominate the league on the court, and this slight will only fuel the fire for her future seasons. However, the controversy has caused problems for the WNBA. With Caitlin Clark taking a 200-day break from professional basketball, the WNBA is facing one of its biggest challenges. For the next few months, the league must figure out how to keep fans interested without its biggest star on the court. The WNBA will have an off period, but other basketball will still be played. This is no easy task, especially considering how much the WNBA has since Clark's playoff exit. Viewership has already decreased. During this 200-day break, the WNBA will need to find ways to keep fans interested and invested in the league, but the truth is that without Clark, the league faces an uphill battle. Clark was the league's biggest draw, and her absence leaves a void that will be challenging to fill.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened.
The physical toll that Caitlin Clark suffered during the 2024 season is unsustainable, and if the WNBA doesn't take immediate action to protect her on the court, she runs the risk of losing out to other opportunities like the EuroLeague, where players are frequently paid more and given better care. If Caitlin Clark were to look for opportunities abroad, it would be a devastating blow to the WNBA. The league cannot afford to lose a player of her caliber, especially after she has done so much to raise its profile. This is an appealing option for top basketball players in recent years, offering higher salaries and better overall treatment.
Rising tide lifts all boats. If folks were more receptive to it, more moments would have arrived. I still contend Caitlin Clark should have been on Team USA. Imagine the international, the global audience that would have followed her. But folks missed it because of feelings, not business.
The WNBA must put Clark's safety and well-being first in order to stop this from happening. This entails making sure that referees are calling fouls when they occur, shielding her from overly aggressive defenses, and ensuring that she is not subjected to the same kind of rough play that led to her playoff exit. Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA cannot be overstated. She has increased viewership, attracted new fans, and given the league a level of attention it hasn't seen in years. But her absence has also exposed the league's vulnerabilities, particularly its reliance on a single player to keep fans interested.
Somebody thinks Angel Reese was the Rookie of the Year? Fine. Maybe it's a writer who covered her team in Chicago. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, I don't know if Caitlin Clark's going to go, can you believe I didn't go unanimous? Now, I thought we would have unanimous MVP and unanimous Rookie of the Year.
The next few months will be crucial for the WNBA as it navigates the post-Clark era. The league must act swiftly to address the issues brought to light by her absence or risk losing the momentum it has worked so hard to build. Going forward, the WNBA must prioritize safeguarding its stars, expanding its talent pool, and making sure that its audience stays engaged even when its biggest star is not on the court. Clark is more than just a player. She is the WNBA's future. If the league wants to keep expanding and drawing in new fans, must do all in their ability to retain her in the fold. If they don't stop ignoring the prejudice against Caitlin, the WNBA runs the risk of losing the star who brought it to life, along with the fans who supported her. If you liked it, please leave a like. Add more videos to the screen by subscribing.